What's up, everybody? It's Common Sense Investor coming at you with another video, going head to head with these some bitches in the next couple of days. And as I told y'all, this is the lawsuit from the American Securities Association and Citadel Securities versus the SEC. And if you would have told me that I was going to have to write an amicus brief in support of the SEC 2 years ago, I would have laughed at you. But seeing that they called in 5 of their little buddies right here to file amicus brief in support of Citadel, I felt it only right and tell the court the truth about what's really going on. All right, now here is the amicus brief from the New Civil Liberties Alliance, okay? They state the SEC's CAT is an unprecedented mass confiscation of personal financial data, bullshit, without any statutory authority to set up such a program, bullshit. SEC is forcing brokers, exchanges, clearing agencies, and alternative trading systems to capture and send detailed information on every investor's U.S. market trades to a centralized database, bullshit, which the SEC, self-regulatory organizations, and outside contractors could access forever. Now, I don't know anything about no outside contractors that they're talking about, but self-regulatory organizations are going to be a part of this, and the SEC is going to be able to go in there and check and see for any market manipulation and make sure that they are following the regulatory policies of the SEC. Now, let's take a look at what I had to say. The summary of my argument is this. The SEC's implementation of the Consolidated Audit Trail, CAT, is crucial for promoting transparency in stock trading and preventing market manipulation. Citadel's lawsuit against the SEC is no more than a frivolous attempt to avoid scrutiny, allowing them to undermine the integrity of the market. This brief supports the SEC's position and opposes Citadel's attempt to escape accountability. And here's the first part of my argument. I have 7. Market manipulation and public outcry. Millions of voices cried out to the Securities and Exchange Commission, the SEC, about market manipulation by market makers who openly admit to setting the price of securities instead of allowing the natural law of supply and demand to do so. However, the first line of defense, securities exchanges such as the New York Stock Exchange and FINRA, acting as self-regulatory organizations, were not policing the market as they should and letting market makers run wild selling securities they did not own, mismarking tens of millions of bought orders as sold, and orders that were sold were marked as bought. These practices went on for years without the exchanges taking action. Finally, due to public outcry, the SEC, acting as the second line of defense, had to step in and pass Rule 613, the CAT system, to restore order and protect the market. Part 2. Prior audit trails compared to the CAT system. Now this is good, people. Watch what I do to these son of a bitches with part 2. Prior to the passage of Rule 613, one of the primary systems used by the U.S. securities industry for monitoring and auditing trading activities was called the Order Audit Trail System, OATS. OATS was established in 1998 and is funded by who? Financial Industry Regulatory Authority, FINRA. Who funds that? FINRA, a self-regulatory organization, and was primarily used to record what? Orders, quotes, and trades in the national market system and the OTC equity securities. OATS required FINRA members to record and report detailed information about the handling or execution of orders, including the time an order is received, the price, the size of the order, how and when it was executed. Does that sound familiar? That's the CAT system, people. This data was used by FINRA for regulatory purposes such as surveillance and investigation of trading activities to detect potential manipulative behavior or regulatory violation, and as the regulatory arm of the government to ensure transparency and a fair market, the SEC had authority and access to review data from the Order Audit Trail System, OATS, which had been established since 1998 as part of its oversight regulatory functions. Furthermore, exchanges such as the New York Stock Exchange, among others, had their own audit systems and surveillance mechanisms in place to monitor trading activities and ensure compliance with their specific rules and regulations, as well as with federal securities laws. These systems were designed to oversee the trading activities that occur within each exchange's platform and help detect and prevent irregularities such as market manipulation and trading violations. Some examples of how exchanges currently implement their own audit systems. All right, they already have an audit system on the New York Stock Exchange and NASDAQ. Major stock exchanges such as NASDAQ and New York Stock Exchange have sophisticated surveillance systems to monitor trading activities. These systems track all orders, trades, modifications, and cancellations to ensure compliance with market rules and to detect potential instances of market manipulation or insider trading. Now, if the New York Stock Exchange and NASDAQ already had this in place, why do we need a consolidated one? We'll get to that probably in another video, the next video. But the commodities exchanges has the same system set up that they ensure and traders comply with exchange rules and federal regulations. The electronic communications and alternative trading systems, that's dark pools, they have a system in place where they can track and audit each trade, all right? So, what's the problem, people? If they already have these in place and they pay for it themselves as a cost of doing business, then why are they bucking the CAT system? I'll tell you in just a minute. But what's important to know is they already have an audit trail system. They already pay for it themselves, all right? And they pay for it themselves by exchange-funded membership fees, regulatory fees. I explained to the court how they're paying for their audit trail systems right now. So why are they crying that they have to pay for the CAT system? Overall, the exchanges themselves bear the financial responsibility for ensuring they have adequate systems in place to monitor trading, detect irregularities, and maintain compliance with both their internal rules and applicable federal regulations. This setup helps ensure that the exchanges have a direct interest in maintaining robust and effective surveillance capabilities to protect market integrity and investor confidence. Each of these systems are crucial for maintaining the integrity of the financial markets. However, they have become outdated due to technological advancements and the rise of high-speed trading. To address this, the SEC introduced the CAT system. This new system enhances and expands upon the capabilities of the outdated OATS system by including more comprehensive data collection. As the court will see, the CAT systems aim to provide a more complete and efficient system for monitoring market activities across all U.S. exchanges and trading venues, ultimately replacing the OATS system and other similar systems to centralize and streamline regulatory oversights. The Consolidated Audit Trail, like its predecessors, provide critical transparency in stock trading, tracking every transaction from purchase order to execution. However, due to the outdated systems, the SEC, as a regulatory body, was forced to pass Rule 613, instructing exchanges, market makers, and broker-dealers to establish one consolidated audit database to track all transactions. In other words, people, the SEC, when they go in to look for shit that Citadel or Virtu's done, they got to run here. They got to run there. They got to run over there. They got to run over there to try to piece together the puzzle. When they're saying, you know what, enough's enough of your bullshit, because here's what was going on. Citadel, for example, they don't want it to be listed on their trading desk. So if they have an order that they're looking at for payment for order flow, and they say, ooh, we need to make an order here, they'll send their order to another market maker like Virtu or James Street or whatever, and it's got a different customer ID number, so the SEC doesn't realize that it's Citadel, and it's harder for them to track it. So they said, enough's enough of the bullshit, put it all in one consolidated database, and then we will be able to track every transaction from every individual, not me, them, to ensure that they are complying with market regulations. In part 3, I discussed Citadel's patterns of violations. What they were doing was setting up a pattern of misbehavior. Fine them a little bit, let them keep going. Keep going, bitches. When we get ready to sink you, there's going to be no way out for you. Your license is going to be pulled. The DOJ is going to step in, and Ken Griffith and the rest of these motherfuckers is going to go to jail. All right? But I talk about what Citadel's patterns of violations were. Furthermore, I would bring to the court's attention that the SEC had to bring charges for the crimes committed by Citadel because exchanges refused to act in their government-appointed regulatory function. In other words, because the exchanges refused to regulate the market using their individual audit trails, the Securities Exchange Commission, the government's regulatory arm, I say that a lot, aimed at protecting retail investors in just such a case had to step in. The actions taken by the SEC to address these crimes using the exchange's outdated audit trails were not considered government overreach at the time. It was the stiff arm of the government stepping in to protect the best interests of retail investors. Admissions of market manipulations, number 4. I talk about Ken Griffith setting the price of securities. I say that Citadel isn't the only market maker with a history of violations. Virtu Financial has done this, this, and this. All right, and then I dedicated part 5 to Virtu Financial, the liquidity fairy. And I explained to the court right here that during a CNBC interview, explained why he, Doug Seafood, disagreed with proposed amendments to Rule 605. All right, what that means is, to the extent that there's isn't liquidity on the lit exchange, fundamentally the wholesalers like himself provide infinite liquidity at the national best bid and offer price or the inside price. So if we get an order for 1,000 shares and there are only 200 shares on NASDAQ, we fill out 1,000 shares at the inside price. That's meaningful liquidity. 55% of the orders we receive, we provide size improvement. That's why I lead into Section 6, the law of supply and demand. Understanding the law of supply and demand is crucial to recognizing why the actions of market makers like Virtu Financial and Citadel, often referred to as liquidity fairies, can be problematic. Traditionally, this law dictates that the price of an asset, such as a company's stock, is directly related to the availability of the company's outstanding float, i.e. the supply of these shares, and the market's desire for them, i.e. the demand. The outstanding float refers to the number of shares actually available for trading in the public market. Prices should naturally adjust based on the real-time interaction of supply and demand, which helps determine the fair market value of shares. As mentioned, Virtu Financial lays claim to size improvement. That is to say, they warp the natural balance of supply and demand, leading to skewed price discovery. When market makers like Virtu fill orders for a larger quantity of shares than what is available, the outstanding float of the company, on the market, for example, filling an order for 1,000 shares when only 200 are available, they effectively hyperinflate the perception of a stock's available shares. This distortion has misled investors about the true supply and demand dynamics and results in pricing that may not accurately reflect genuine market conditions. This artificial inflation of supply has misled investors who rely on accurate market indicators to make informed investment decisions. It introduces a potential for price manipulation, significantly deviating from the fundamental principles that underpin fair and transparent markets. Furthermore, I would remind the court of Citadel's admission to the modern-day pricing of securities under their control when he states markets are efficient because of active managers setting the price of securities. For time's sake, Section 7 is the CAT Government Overreach, all right? And I destroy all the other Amicus briefs that are coming in, particularly by this one right here, the Investor Choice Advocates Network, where they make claims of government overreach, and I got to spank that ass and tell them to sit the fuck down because they don't know what they're talking about. They must have went to Harvard Business School. This should be number 8. Got a little editing I still got to do. The need for market integrity. Historically, the SEC has been forced to rely on outdated audit trails provided by multiple self-regulatory organizations, which fragmented the regulatory oversight and made it challenging to efficiently monitor market manipulations across different platforms. The CAT system will introduce a unified and comprehensive tracking framework that provides regulators and market participants with the advanced tools necessary to ensure that deceptive practices do not destabilize market operations. And then I conclude it with, considering the above, this court can now see clearly the frivolous nature of Citadel's lawsuits against the SEC. Existing audit trails, while maintained by various self-regulatory organizations, are outdated and dispersed across multiple databases. This fragmentation makes it exceedingly difficult for the SEC to effectively monitor and regulate the market. The introduction of the consolidated audit trail system is a necessary evolution to address these deficiencies, enabling for more efficient oversight and comprehensive market surveillance. Now, not bad for a dumb redneck that didn't go to Harvard Business School, or law school. That's how you structure an argument. I noticed one thing that I don't have in here, I have to go back and look at it and see where it goes, is about showing how the SEC is like the health inspectors. They don't need warrants to go in, all right? They go in to make sure that everything's going according to the regulations, all right? And if the DOJ wants to step in and they want to see the CAT system, they have to come with a warrant. So I just felt everything that they argued. I understood their arguments. I defeated their arguments. And this brief simply is going to have to just change the name of who's trying to stop this and submit it into the next court. When they pop up their ugly little evil head, we just simply have to change the name from Citadel to whoever the next son of a bitch is that's trying to stop our markets from operating the way they should. So I know this was quite long. I hope y'all enjoyed it though. I will be going and getting a ream of paper today so I could print all this out, have it in front of me, do all my scratch offs and notes and putting in, crossing my T's, dotting my I's. And then I'm going to send it to the paralegal that I know and going to have them oversee it and put it in the correct format that's needed for this to be a court-friendly document. And with that, I love y'all. Be blessed. I hope you enjoyed it. See you in the next video.